Today we're going to look back at Stronghold. How strong was Stronghold? Well, we're going to start off with an absolutely miserable card from Kano, Ensnaring Bridge. Boy, do I absolutely not like seeing this thing. It's not to say that it's a bad card. It's an outrageously powerful card. I wonder if it saw a lot of play back in the day. It ended up seeing like a ton of play in the future, that's for sure. I was never really there in the past. Pay 3 mana, artifact. Each creature with power greater than the number of cards in your hand cannot attack. I mean, this is a huge boo card. Huge boo. No one likes playing against this thing. It's awful. I don't know if there's a stage in the world where people, oh, this is a lot of fun. This is like bad card design. These days it would be like the creature can't attack unless you pay 2 or 3, or for each artifact you have on the battlefield, or something rather, you know. For each creature that's attacking, you gotta pay, I don't know, some amount of mana. Back then, oh, I got no creatures in hand. You can't attack. You can't do anything at all. And if you can't beat my bridge, then I win the game. Yeah, this is it's absolutely awful. But with that in mind, card is outrageously powerful. Even stands the test of time, even by today. Oh, Mox Diamond came out from this set. Really? You're right, it did. 0 mana artifact comes into play. Choose and discard a land card or sack your Mox and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Plays ability as a mana source. Yes, this is quite the mana sourcey, isn't it? Sees play everywhere. Still a staple in Legacy. Huge staple in Commander. I mean, the price ballooned to like what, $100 to $600. It was probably like $50 in Legacy and ballooned to like over $600 because it's like, I don't know, it's like the last Mana Crypt. It's funny, they banned Mana Crypt, they banned Jeweled Lotus. Those cards are not on the reserve list, but this one, they have no problem keeping that one around. Yep, the one that the price can go sky high to infinity, that one's still legal. Oh yeah, Mox Diamond still stands the test of time even today. Beam Pot with Bottomless Pit. Let's take a look at Bottomless Pit here. Is a black 1 generic enchantment. During each player's upkeep, that player discards a card at random. That's interesting. They loved their discard back then. You know, the Hypnotic Specters, the Hymn to Turox, Hand Disruption, Hand Discard. It was a powerhouse back in the day. I guess. People don't like, I guess they don't like their cards getting milled. They don't like their cards getting discarded either. That being said, I've never heard of this card until today, which does not stand. I mean, I never played during Stronghold, so I don't know if this saw play in Standard or not. During each player's upkeep, that player discards a card at random. Feels very slow-ish, but still, I mean, it's random. You're taking a chance. You could discard it. You could discard your 3rd land drop. It could be like Preemptive Ponza, if you know what I mean. Mono black, it's like Preemptive Stone Rain. We went back in time to Stone Rain your land before you could even play it, effectively. All right, Bottomless Pit. I'm going to say this was a stinker, though. This is very, very slow. And these days, by today's standards, you actually might be helping your opponent get cards into the graveyard. Okay, Benjamin Berkeley with Volrath's Stronghold. Oh, is that hence why it's called Stronghold? Huh? Is that the reason for it? the Stronghold, the set, the card, the land. It is a legendary land. Add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool, a black 1 generic. Put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Did they reprint it? No, they didn't reprint this in Modern. Oh, it's part of the reserve list. Oh no.
No, God, please, no.
It's a cool card. I think this is a cool card. They should, it would be really nice to see something like this in Modern, in Pioneer. Did they make like a reprint, like a watered down version of this card somewhere? Like 3 mana tap, put a creature back on top of the library. I don't think it would hurt I don't think it would be that big of a deal if you added like another mana or 2 on top, or like even 1 more mana. Let's say it's black 2 generic. Tap it, put a creature back on top of your library. Because if you're empty-handed, like, what do you care? You'll just soak your turn to put like your best creature back on top of your deck. And hopefully that's pretty fair. The Seed of World's Evil. I think this is a really cool card. It's still fine by today's standards. Not super powerful, but it's quite nice. It's a decent card. Pretty useful utility. We got Alex Bruce with Dream Halls. Wow, there's actually a lot of bangers from this set. The 5-mana enchantment. So instead of paying the casting cost for a spell of any color, its caster may choose and discard a card that shares at least one color with that spell. And if the spell has X in its casting cost, X is 0. I don't get it. What does that mean? Hold on. Instead of paying the casting cost for a spell of any color, you can choose... Screw the ancient scripture. Reading the card is not explaining the card very well here. Rather than pay the mana cost for a spell, its controller may discard a card that shares a color with that spell. That's it? That's it. That is absolutely insane. So basically, you play this card and you can play everything else for free. I think that's bonkers. Dream Halls. I think, well, it's probably a catch. The catch is probably because this thing costs 3 mana. So it's like you can play anything for free, but it effectively costs 3 cards. The card you discard, the card you have to cast, and like this card you have to make sure it resolves on the battlefield. Everything becomes Force of Will. Does it? When instead of casting, its caster may choose and discard at least one card. No, not everything. This is the opposite. Everything resolves. I think I know what you're talking about. You know, everything is like an evoke elemental, the way I'm looking at it. So you can exile a card to cast the thing, but then it's going to stick. It's going to stay. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay, I think it's a cool card. Kagan coming out with the super chat. Revenant. Is the pre-release card. Well, that's just great. There's a lot of cards called Revenant. Do we have a promo here? They're pre-release. Back in the day when they stamped the date on it. Pre-release number 2. So February of 1998. Just about 1 year before I started dipping my toes into Magic the Gathering. So the black 4 generic star flyer. Revenant has power and toughness, each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. That's a shame. You know, back in the day, the promos were great. Like Wizards of the Coast back in the day, a lot of the promos were like the top tier cards that you would play. They had like promo Swords to Plowshares. They had promo Wastelands. They had promo like Cryptic Command. Back they didn't. What's up with this? Oh, I guess this is the pre-release promo. Maybe I'm mistaking pre-release promos because they may not even know what are the good cards yet. From player reward, there was player reward promos, then there were pre-release promos. Okay, I take it back. Back then, the promos must have sucked. All it did is get a stamp. That's it. You got a stamp. And then that's the end of it. There's no foils back then. To be honest, I'm just learning right now there were like promo cards before foils existed. No way. Fling came from here? Fling? Oh, this is the origin story of Fling, the 2-mana instant. Sack a creature, Fling deals damage equal to the sacked creature's power to target creature or player. Now, if you ask me, I think Fling is jank. I mean, this is the ultimate Titanic music sound effect, all right? I mean, it is the ultimate win more card. If you have a big creature in play, try to just win with that creature. You don't need to, like, attack for big and then finish your opponent off with an even bigger Fling. So it's like a big win more card. I know this is like the love child, or this is very beloved of so many Magic the Gathering players. I'm sure there's a Fling Facebook group, a Fling Discord. There's something about saving up a gigantic creature, attacking your opponent for 10, and then finishing them off with Fling for the other 10. Anyway, it's completely unnecessary. Next up, let's go with... So anyway, my opinion of Fling, garbage. Most other people's opinion of Fling, this is great! It's going straight in every red deck that I have. Okay, Chen, with Amok. What are the odds? Oh, wow. There are 2 cards. I was like, oh, what are the odds? This is the only card called Amok. Red 1 generic enchantment. Pay 1. Discard a card at random. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Ooh. Discard random. So you're guaranteed the counter, though. This has some interesting synergy with Madness. Of course, it has some synergy if you need to build up your graveyard for Threshold, for Dredge. Although, honestly, I don't think any Dredge deck is going to be playing with this card. Yeah, it's a combat trick. It's a combat trick. I mean, the card, I would never play this card, but it's interesting. You know, it's sort of one of those cute cards. You look back in time, you say, you know what, I could play that card. That's possible. You know, if you play a deck with enough Dredge or Madness or Delve or basically a lot of graveyard synergy, it's almost free. Especially if you need the discard outlet and you are playing to the board. You need to have the +1/+1 counters for some reason. I think it's pretty neat. I just think it's neat. Michael is a simple person with very exquisite taste. The Sliver Queen. Okay, it's a 5 mana 7/7. You ever heard of it? You ever heard of the Queen? The Queen Bee of the Slivers? Sliver Queen counts as a sliver. Pay 2. Put a sliver token into play. Treat this token as a 1/1 colorless creature. Now, it looks bland, but of course it's supposed to have synergy with all the other slivers. I think slivers are so cool, and it's so sad that slivers are just stone cold unplayable in the year 2024 in competitive Magic. You can't play them in Pioneer. You can't play them in Modern. You can't play them in Legacy. It could be something in Modern. It just needs Crystalline Sliver. Like, the best sliver is Crystalline Sliver, and it's restricted to Legacy, and unfortunately the mana base required to make a sliver deck work in Legacy sucks because of Wasteland. Man, back in the day, I love slivers. I actually owned I owned like all the good slivers back then, but I didn't own any of the good lands, so I couldn't cast anything. My God. Like, we take for granted Wooburg today. Like, today, Wooburg, that's like nothing. Yeah, you can easily have all those colors by turn 5. But back in the day, if you didn't have reserve list dual lands, it was impossible. It was so hard to cast even, like, you know, a 3-color card, for crying out loud. The mana bases were terrible. Beanpot says Crystalline Sliver also came from Stronghold. Well, let's look at Crystalline Sliver. This card is an absolute banger. Blue-white, 2/2. All slivers have Shroud. So basically, we're untouchable. This card would be amazing in Modern. Absolutely amazing. It makes slivers from unplayable to playable in like a snap of a second. They made so many Modern Horizons sets saying, "Oh, we're gonna boost up the Kindred. We're gonna help slivers," and they never printed this thing. I can't believe it. Is it so bad? There's so many board wipes. So many like target player sacks a creature. I don't think Crystalline Sliver would overpower the format. Or maybe they're doing it for me so that my merfolk are still playable. Okay, next up, we got another super chat from Kagan. Other card I have from here is the Crossbow Ambush. Oops, I cannot spell. Crossbow Ambush. This is a green instant. All creatures you control can block creatures with flying until end of turn. I'll tell you, there's one thing that they'll never see. They might sense something's coming. You're holding up 1 green the entire game. What's going on? What are you going to do with that green? But they would never have suspected that you would have played Crossbow Ambush. That is the last thing they would assumed of. Yeah, all creatures you control can block all creatures with flying until end of turn. Hell of a card. Crowcore Games with Portcullis. What the hell is this? 4-mana artifact. Whenever any creature comes into play, if there are 2 or more other creatures in play, set that creature aside. If Portcullis leaves play, put the creature into play under its owner's control. So I'm assuming it exiles it or something. If there are 2 or more other creatures on the battlefield, exile that creature. Yeah, return that creature to the battlefield under its owner's control when Portcullis leaves the battlefield. So whenever a creature enters, if there are 2 or more. Wait a minute. So hold on. If you like soak up, hold on, it says if there are 2 or more other creatures on the battlefield, just period. So if I get the first 2 out and I play Portcullis, like, are my opponents just completely screwed? Like, okay, I get creature number 1. I get creature number 2. Portcullis. That's it. Wow, this looks so awful. This is a $1.32. Yeah, it's jail time. Everyone's going to jail. Except for whoever got the first 2 creatures in play. Yes, Portcullis hoses enemy board state. This is absolutely insane. This is $1.32. This costs $1.32. I don't think the world knows this card exists. And then they have to kill the creatures in play in order to play their own creatures. I wouldn't necessarily say it's powerful, but I absolutely love Tortured Existence. Okay, let's look at Tortured Existence. Hold on. So let's see. Croker Game says, yes, that is how that works. LOL. Problem is that 4 mana and dies to every removal piece. Well, the problem with everything. Love when old cards are absolutely evil, says Steve Cooper. Okay, Tortured Existence. Oh, this card. Black Enchantment. Pay a black, choose and discard a card. Choose and discard a creature card. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This is the best thing we're gonna have to. Wait a minute, no, I was about to say Volrath. This is the best thing we have since Volrath Stronghold, but that's literally a card that came from the same set, so I'm a little confused. Both cards came from the same set. They really liked bringing creatures from the graveyard back to you. Volrath was one with the graveyard. Great card. Underrated. John, thanks so much for your super chat. What do we got here? Awakening. Early game shenanigans. How early? This is 4 mana. For an enchantment, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, untap all creatures and lands. Oh! Each player's upkeep. That is I don't know what to say, but that is an absolutely powerful card. I will say that. That is a hell of an effect. So, hold on, everyone gets to be, what's that, Seedborn Muse? Is that what I'm thinking of? Not super familiar with Seedborn. Or what's the Simic card? I'm thinking more of the Simic card. Untap all permanents you control during each other. So everyone gets to be a Seedborn Muse, essentially. We did Ensnaring Bridge, Julian. Very evil card. Very, very evil. Anyway, okay, that's a hell of a card. I think that's one way of making a Commander game a lot of fun. That's for sure. Take the fun level from 0 to 10. Oh, Prophet of Kruphix. That's what I was thinking of. Is the Simic untap one. Everyone gets to be Prophet of Kruphix. Thanks for letting me know, Steve Cooper and Pedgeman. Okay, where do we have here? Let's take Hexenor's Hearthstone. So let's look at the card. Is it? Hold on. Oh no, this is It's not Hearthstone. It's Hearthstone. Okay, forget it. I thought this is the card that Hearthstone basically stole or ripped from Magic the Gathering. No, it's its own card. Okay, 3 mana artifact at the cost of each creature ability requiring an activation cost is reduced by 1. That's a good deal. This cannot reduce an ability's generic mana cost to less than 1. Ah. Why, you're saying I can't get from 1 to 0 and then have, like, infinite mana? Or infinite triggers? Infinite activated abilities? I guess not. It's okay. The problem is it's 3 mana. If it was 2 mana, 3 mana is a little too expensive in my opinion. But if it was 2 mana, I think this could see a lot of play. You know, like, it's like Training Grounds like. But at 3 mana, it's a bit... I don't know how to put it, but like 3 mana, that's the turn where you got to get things going. You can't spend or waste any more time dirtling around, and this is very dirtily around like. What's Jinxed Ring from Julian. This is a 2-mana artifact. Whenever any card is put into your graveyard from play, Jinxed Ring deals 1 damage to you. Well, what kind of deal is that? Any card is put into your graveyard. Okay. What's the upside? Sacrifice a creature. Target opponent gains control of Jinxed Ring. Oh, permanently. What? This effect lasts. So on, it can't go to anybody else? I don't get this. Sacrifice a creature. Target opponent gains control of Jinxed Ring. This effect lasts indefinitely. Well, they can do it too. Oh no, that's what I thought. Then why do they have this effect lasts indefinitely? That's screwing with my brain. Can I get an Oracle text? I guess you can still give it to somebody and it says this effect lasts indefinitely. It would just be easy to say sacrifice a creature, target opponent gains control of Jinxed Ring, and then that period. Not permanently, period. Don't make it sound weird. They make it sound like you just can't give it to somebody. Like, it just means it's not until end of turn. Yeah, well, that's fine. They didn't say that. They didn't say that. The set seems very fun for a Mario Party type of deck. You know what, Steve Cooper? I have to say, Stronghold, it's got its own identity. Frankly, it's like weird Commander cards before Commander even came into existence. That's the way I'm looking at it. Doc Strange, we did Dream Halls already. Okay, who has no card yet? I don't think Totally Duck got one. Mulch. I think this was a real card. Mulch. Green, 1 generic sorcery. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put any of those cards that are lands into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. This literally saw a lot of competitive play. It was a solid card to basically fill your graveyard for graveyard shenanigans, while also digging for your lands to curve out and make your land drop. So actually, Mulch is... honestly, you ask me, I think this card is just crap. I would never play with this thing. But if you're a graveyard-oriented deck, you want to reanimate some stuff, you want to use that synergy, Mulch is just straight up card advantage. It's like, turn 2, what else are you going to do? Go get yourself a land and dump the rest of the stuff into your graveyard. Spew Lighter. I can't tell. Is that like your actual name, or did you like name yourself after the AI? We had an AI generated card called a Spew Lighter. Any fans of Sword of the Chosen? It's still Commander fun. It is from Stronghold. Oh wow, they kept the art. Nice. Okay, it's a 2-mana legendary artifact. Tap. Target legend gets +2/+2 until end of turn. I feel like this is equipment before equipment became equipment. It is the closest to it. Look, it's a legendary artifact. It's literally a sword in the picture. It's making a creature, bigger. It gives them a buff. But anyhow, yeah. To be honest, I probably wouldn't play this card. I might be underestimating it. It's probably pretty good in combat, right? Like, you would swing with a bunch of stuff, and all the blocks suck because your opponent knows that you can, like, buff up any creature. So they have to double block the creature that they absolutely want to kill. Dr. Sean! With Spike Feeder was the best of its kind for a long time. Still is. There's nothing wrong with Spike Feeder. Still see a little bit of niche play in Modern, but saw a lot of competitive play in Modern, not to mention other formats. It's funny, it was like a card in... is it Oath? Can't remember. I think maybe Oath? I can't remember. There was a few decks that played with this card. I can't remember why Oath wanted to play this card, but anyway, I'm not an expert on the Oath of Druids deck. Okay, green, 1 generic, 0/0. Comes into play with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Pay 2, remove a +1/+1 counter from Spike Feeder and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Also, remove a +1/+1 counter from Spike Feeder. Gain 2 life. These days, I mean, this card just got better and better. It aged like wine because of cards like Heliod. Which Heliod? Hold on. Heliod, Walking Ballista. No, not Walking Ballista. This Heliod. This evil Heliod. This Heliod is evil. Because when you gain life, you can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. And that counter goes back on the spike feeder. But then when you remove the counter, you gain 2 life to keep doing it over and over again. Anyway, this card is fantastic. Meme Brulee. Mog Infestation. Is it like cockroaches? I'm on a bus right now, so my bad if I miss some cards tonight. It's okay, Meme Brulee. I've watched many a stream while being on the bus. Say hi to everyone else on the bus for me. 5 mana for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures target player controls. One-sided board wipe. For each creature that died this way, put 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield under that player's control. I wonder, can you turn that into your advantage? Can you make those goblins turn against their controller and maybe work for you? It's decent, I think. Especially since I mean, if you have this card in your deck, you're probably not afraid of the goblins. You've got a plan. You got a plan for them, either to steal them or kill them off as well. Okay, next up, we've got Dangerous One. Thanks so much for your super chat. Constant Mists. Oh, I thought it was a different Mists card. 2 mana instant buyback, sack a land. Creatures deal no damage this turn. Okay, if you ask me, I mean, this card's awful. But I think there's like a million people out there that's like, Nikachu, this card's amazing! Infinite fogs! You can fog for forever! How could this go wrong? Dealing no combat damage is not the strength. Like, and honestly, so the first time you do it, it's going to be a bit of a surprise. Probably not the second time, though, because, like, you already showed them you have constant mists in your hand. And then from there, you have to be really careful. I mean, you can't tap out. You tap out, everyone's going to, like, come and swing at you. But when you tap out, or sorry, when you're not tapped out, they'll just not even pay attention. So, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not that thrilled about the thing. Damn smoke screeners, yeah. Well, some would say mist and smoke are 2 different things. Nadim! Nikachu, evening. Who does Hermit Druid remind you of? Hermit, maybe myself. Oh, you mean is that supposed to be Post Malone or something? 2 mana for a 1/1 human druid. Hold on, let's see the original one. There we go. Well, it's the same one. Pay green, tap, reveal cards on the top of your library until you reveal a basic land card. Put that card into your hand and put the other real cards into your graveyard. That's wild. That's actually crazy graveyard shenanigans. Oh, no wonder this card is banned in Legacy. It looks like Jason Momoa. Oh, so I just named the wrong person completely. Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm not gonna look up Jason Momoa. Everyone probably knows who this person is. I am such an uncultured swine. I barely know what Post Malone looks like. This is Post Malone. In my mind, this is Post Malone stuck in a jungle for like a year. This is what he's gonna look like. Still probably making music out there. His latest album is gonna be about how he survived in the wild. Posty was still pooping his pants when this art was. You know what? I didn't think about that. Oh boy, you know what? That didn't come across my mind. Okay, Pedgeman. Rolling Stones. By the way, that card, Hermit Druid, is broken. Rolling Stones. Okay, we have a white 1 generic enchantment. Walls may attack as though they weren't walls. You know what? This card should also be a wall. That would actually make it playable. It should be Rolling Stones. It has Defender, but walls may attack as though they weren't wall, or as though they didn't have Defender. But as an enchantment, that sucks. So you make this wall deck. What does this look like? It looks like Gumby. It's Gumby. Where Gumby came. Does anyone know who Gumby is? It's Gumby, right? Hold on. Look off camera. Gumby. Yes. Yes. You're gonna see it. Hold on. Open image in new tab. Does anyone else see Gumby? I see Gumby. I'm gonna share it with everybody. There it is. It's the same thing. You can see it. When Gumby got animated, decided, you know what, I'm gonna get into children cartoons or whatever. Gumby was my childhood. I was a Gumby boy. Everyone who loves Gumby, you probably have to get Rolling Stones. I'm just saying. Okay, you heard the music. We're gonna take a look at more cards from the past, from Stronghold. But this card's awful. But we're gonna look at more cards. But we have to thank our sponsor today, FusionGamingOnline.com. The Black Friday deals, they keep rolling. If you're watching, they have the pre-Black Friday deals, and don't forget those are going to be definitely post-Black Friday deals. Get huge deals on Magic the Gathering, board games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and more at FusionGamingOnline.com. And also, if you've missed all the deals, if you missed pre-Black Friday, Black Friday, don't forget, there is coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards on Magic Online, the digital client. So when you're renting online, you don't care if cards get banned. You can play every format. You can play Commander. You can play one-on-one Magic. All with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 40% cash back on your third month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_4VU. Okay, back to our wonderful Stronghold. Dr. Sean says, Wall of Blossoms was a powerhouse back then. Creatures sucked. It could basically block anything and replace itself. Oh yeah. Was that Wall of Blossoms? Are you saying that's from back in the day? Wall of Blow. Oh, it did come from Stronghold. And this card definitely stood the test of time. Because when it comes into play, you draw a card. And 2 mana for a 0/4 is not bad. Like, it blocks most aggressive creatures early on in the game. This definitely stood the test of time. Now you got, like, the blink synergy these days. Everyone trying to blink stuff. So enter the battlefield, draw a card. Play another creature, flicker or blink this thing, draw a card. I mean, it's an engine right by itself. It's a 1-card... I wouldn't say it's a win condition, but it's a 1-card engine. Okay, Crowcore Games, thanks so much for your super chat. Invasion Planes. Oh, sorry, Invasion Plans. They've got a plan. A plan to invade. It's a 3-mana enchantment. Each creature blocks whenever able. What does that have to do with invading? Attacking player chooses how each creature blocks. What is this? It's almost like some level up from what's it called? Not flanking. What's that weird combat mechanic called? The one that nobody knows how it works, but they sort of do. Banding. That's right. Banding. It's sort of like a weird... So this plus banding is going to make things even more complicated. Makes it like Hearthstone combat. Is that right? Attacking player chooses how creatures block. Does it work like that? Oh, no, you are right. Yeah, because when I haven't played Hearthstone in a hot minute, and by a minute I mean years. But yeah, you are just directly attacking whatever you want. I mean, there's like no blocking in Hearthstone, right? If I remember correctly, there's like none. It doesn't exist. You attack creatures so they can't attack you. It's all offense, no defense. I have no idea how good or bad this card is. I guess it's fine. It's interesting. And I'm gonna guess this card is bad in the grand scheme of things. Okay, we got Ferginka with Horn of Greed. Don't be too greedy. For the group hug card for the show. Everyone needs a group hug. 3-mana artifact. Whenever any player plays a land, that player draws a card. Ooh. We were just talking the other day. What if, like a rule 0, whenever you play a land, you draw a card? And actually, some people refined the idea in the comment section saying, Probably playing lands, drawing a card is too powerful because some decks that are like ramp decks and playing multiple lands a turn will just draw too many cards, so just be limited to one card a turn. But still, what if? With the Horde of Green makes that a reality. No, here's a question. Why can't Wizards make like unique, interesting cards like this anymore? You notice how it's just this basically one line of text or two lines of text. Like there's very little words on this card, but the effect is big. Whereas these days on Magic cards, it's like a million words. It's a million crappy words. But if you cram enough of them together, then it's a big card. You know, it's a big card. We've done Ensnaring Bridge already. That's the second time I've had to say this. Ensnaring Bridge count has been we're up to 2. We're up to 2. Okay, Horn of Green is an awesome card. I love this. Yu-Gi-Oh-fication of MTG, basically. Well, but what I'm trying to say is, with very few words, this card has a powerful effect. Whereas these days, cards are only powerful because you jam them with a bunch of crappy words. It's a different world we live in here. Okay, Mason with Intruder Alarm. 3-mana enchantment. Creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps. Whenever a creature comes into play, untap all creatures. Very powerful card. Very, very, very powerful. There's a lot of combo engines completely built around this thing, especially with elves. Yeah. Blue-green elves, it sounds weird at first. But once you understand... Oh, sorry. This is the original one. So blue-green elves... It's weird. It sounds weird, but you have to assume that they have Intruder Alarm in their deck, because every elf that they play then untaps all their elves to retap for more mana. That is synergy. Synergy, people. Croker Games with another super chat. It probably was bad, but Invasion Plans was an auto-include with Ans, Rag, the Quake Mole. Oh, I see. To get, like, it must be blocked each combat this turn if able. Oh, I see. So then, whenever it becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there is an additional combat. So as a means of, like, getting through... I think what he means is getting through damage, because you would attack with another creature. All those creatures would block one creature. And then this thing would keep getting through over and over and over again. You heard that, everyone? You heard Kroger Games. That was a donation. We're going to give it to Evan with Burgeoning. Another classic, Green Enchantment. Whenever any opponent plays a land, you may choose a land card from your hand and put it into play. Whatever. It's funny, actually. This might as well be... Is there any difference between this and Exploration in Commander? Like, none, right? Arguably better. Because you have, like, okay, you take your turn, but then your opponent will take a turn. The other opponent will take a turn. The other opponent will take a turn. You're going to have, like, 3 extra lands in play. Maybe more, if they're ramping too. Oh my god, I just thought of something. What if 2 players have Burgeoning in play? Yeah, it's our land drop now. Your land drop's my land drop. I don't know how to make this a song. Arethusa, welcome. Conviction. Feels like an early attempt to make a recursive aura. Probably. Okay, 2 mana, enchant creature. Gets +1/+3. Pay a white, return Conviction to its owner's hand. Oh, you mean like making an aura that can bounce back to your hand. That's right. Yeah, that's definitely it, but it's awful. It's terrible. It's still no good. Your auras just are... I guess the way you have to make auras good, it's something... Sorry, we made auras good. It's called... it's that mechanic where it's a creature, and you bestow it onto a creature. Because if you kill the creature in response, you still have an enchantment anyway. Anyway, those were the earlier stages of trying to make enchantments good, or auras good. It failed miserably. Nedim is like Mox Diamond, aka Retirement Plan. We did that one. What have we not done? Who has no card yet? Who has no card yet? And we have not done one yet. You just got a card, Evan. Bullwhip from Chalupa Cabra. Whip it good. They got bulls in the multiverse. 4-mana artifact. Pay 2. Tap. Bullwhip deals 1 damage to target creature. That creature attacks this turn if able. Shouldn't it be similar to... How do I put it? Shouldn't it be like a red flag or something? You're like... It's like a bull taunt. Why do we have to... I mean, this will really get you killed. If I whipped a bull, slapped it on its butt, you just turn around and maul me. It should be like Bullwhip. Bullwhip deals 1 damage to target creature, and then that creature deals damage equal to its power to you. That would make a lot more sense. Of course we have bulls. We have minotaurs. Oh, true story. Then we should have said it like whips, whoops, or whips minotaurs. Oh boy. We got Jinxed Ring. Oh no, yeah, we did Jinxed Ring. Sorry about that. Then how about we get Ryan with Spitting Hydra. Hydras. They're basically the camels of Magic the Gathering. The 5-mana 0/0. Well, let's see the OG. Comes into play with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Treat each counter like a head. They don't say that anymore, but like whenever I read a Hydra, that's basically what I think in my head. It's like treat each +1/+1 counter as heads. Then pay to remove a +1/+1 counter from Spitting Hydra. Spitting Hydra deals 1 damage to target creature. Did they like sack their head to like deal 1 last damage? It's funny. The other day on Twitter, I saw a short video of a snake's head that got bitten off, and the snake, the head was on the ground, and then the head bit itself, and then was like freaked out in pain. It was a very weird video. Spitting Hydra reminds me of that video. Okay, Old Boy with Portcullis. We did that one too. So I'm sorry about that. Old Boy, you showed up too late. Okay, we have a super chat here. Crowcore Games, thanks so much for your super chat. Infinite Combo, Pip-Boy 3000, Bubble Matrix, Ansrag the Quake Mole, and Invasion Plans equals oops, all combats, and near infinite mana. Thanks so much for letting us know that combo, Crowcore Games. Okay, we're going to donate. Donate it to, I guess, Kano, Volrath Shapeshifter? Volrath's Shapeshifter. This also came from Stronghold. 3 mana 0/1. As long as the top card of your graveyard is a creature. Oh, God. Just ban all these cards that care about the top of your graveyard. Anyway, if it's a creature card, Volrath's Shapeshifter is a copy of that card, except that Volrath's Shapeshifter retains its abilities, which is pay to choose and discard a card. What? Oh yeah, you discard a card to have that the top card of your graveyard. I don't know what to say about this card. It's like sorted. Yeah, I think it's too jank. Hold on. So as long as the top card of your graveyard. So but if someone blows something up, so like let's say as long as the top card of your graveyard is a creature, yeah, it's a copy. So if someone blows up an artifact, puts it in the graveyard, then it's no longer a Volrath Shapeshifter anymore. Or it's no longer the creature that was copying in the graveyard. Yeah, Hearthstone got named already. It's a small set. Okay, Old Boy. Oh, I'm sorry, Old Boy. We have Ruination. I don't think we've done that one yet. Aha! Destroy all non-basic lands. But only at sorcery speed. Isn't there an instant speed version of this card? I think there's an instant speed version of this card. This is well, well, look, you told me I can't bring Armageddon. But like, what's wrong with Ruination? What's wrong? There's nothing wrong. It's a very fair card. Just blows up all your greedy lands. Play more basics then. I didn't build your deck. Should have built your deck better. Little Dead Fly. I don't even know if you got a card today. It's just a shark. Hammerhead Shark. It's a 2-mana 2/3. Cannot attack unless defending player controls any islands. Hold on. It cannot attack unless defending player controls any islands? Okay, so hold on. It's weirded word. It's worded weirdly, but it needs Island Walk to attack at all. Sort of a crappy Dan. Bad Dan is still bad Dan. This is terrible. Sorry, Sharky. Even by today's Island Home. Where's that? Was that a card? You want us? Hold on. Island Home. No, okay, you're just talking about the card. I can't tell. Sometimes Coffee Crew, you'll mention a mechanic that's actually a word. Bell. Grave Pact. Yeah, it came from Stronghold. Interesting. 4 mana for an enchantment. Whenever any creature you control is put into any graveyard, each other player sacks a creature. That's wild. So you can start sacking creatures, and your opponents have to sack creatures as well. You try to wipe my board, you're going to wipe your own board at the same time. This is a great card. Generic, did we do Awakening? Got here late. I can't tell. Yeah, we did Awakening. Not Island Home. That means you need an island, otherwise you kill your creature. Ah, okay. Thanks so much, Deeper with Diego. Your name and picture looks like it's a brand. Wonder if you're a YouTuber too, a fellow YouTuber. Well, an Island Home is an old keyword for that can't attack unless someone has an island. Oh, got some corrections here. I'm not a historian. You can duke it out in the comments section. You can leave links to MTG wiki pages to prove your point. Lesthian with hesitation. Good question. Anyone play Stronghold back in the day? Were you there for pre-release? Sure, Toads was. 2-mana enchantment. If any spell is played, counter that spell and sacrifice hesitation. Oh, it's like Seal of Counter spell. Well, I guess the problem is you can't choose what you want to counter. You literally have to. Yeah, it's like a weird. It's also like a crappy standstill. I think it's interesting though. I like it. It's cool. That being said, it's probably not very good. Steve Cooper's like, I didn't exist when Homelands came out. Well, I existed, but I was very young and I was very broke. You know, that was back in the day. Back in these days, I was living off of the only money I would get from, like, my birthday, all birthdays combined. What else? The Tooth Fairy. Man, the economics of being a kid sucks. Not a lot of income opportunities back then. Beanpaw says, I was there. I played right into that hesitation back in the day. Chupacabra with Ransack. Four mana sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of target player's library. Put any number of those cards on the bottom of that library in any order, and the rest on the top of the library in any order. What? Look at the top 5 cards. Put any number of those cards on the bottom. Oh, so it's like a super Fate Seal. By the way, just to let everyone know, we only looked at like 2 slivers. If there's any other slivers in the set, like start naming some slivers. This was a sliver set. Yeah, we've barely gone over any slivers here. Okay, Bell with the Reins of Power. 4 mana instant. Untap all creatures you control and all. Hold on, I want to see the Stronghold version. Oh, it's worded differently. The ancient scripture says you and target opponent each untap and gain control of all creatures the other controls until end of turn. Ooh, the old switcheroo. Those creatures are unaffected by summoning sickness this turn. Your creatures are your creatures, more like my creatures. I'm assuming, you know, this deal is not very good because you may not even have any creatures to swap with when you even play with this card. We did fling already, Paulie. Run with Victal Sliver. Oh, is it Victual Sliver? I don't even know what that means. Victual Sliver? I feel like this art is on like another card. Like Hibernation Sliver or something. Green, white, 2/2. Each sliver gains pay 2, sack this creature, and gain 4 life. It's not the worst. It's not the greatest. So the greatest slivers are the ones you don't have to spend a whole lot more mana on. Mana is a premium. It costs too much mana. Ooh, but this one I'll spend mana on. Acidic Sliver. This one's strong. It's a good one. Okay, red, black, 2/2. Each sliver gains pay 2. Sack this creature to deal 2 damage to target creature or player. So when the time is right, you can fling your slivers for lethal. Oh, I think someone mentioned Mana Leak a million years ago. Mana Leak. Let's take a look at Mana Leak. Yeah, it came from Stronghold way back in the day. All right, we got a blue 1 generic. Counter target spell. Unless its controller pays an additional 3 mana. It's an absolute banger card. Honestly, if I didn't know that it was such a staple in Standard for like years and years and years, and years and years and years, I would have never thought that this card was really all that good. I would always compare it to like actual counterspell. Like, why would I play Mana Leak when I can play the real deal in form of counterspell? But this is more flexible, easier to play in decks that splash red, splash black, splash white, splash green, and just gets the job done. And apparently so strong they don't even want to have it in Standard. I think that it's so weird. It should be like a state. It's like it doesn't even see playing Modern anymore because it's so bad. Okay, Pabno, thank you very much for your super chat. Corrupting Licid. Or sorry, Licit? No, Licid. What the hell is a Licid? 3 mana 2/2. It's a pay a black tap. Corrupting Licid loses this ability and becomes a creature enchantment that reads, enchanted creature cannot be blocked, except by artifact creatures and black creatures. Instead of a creature, move Corrupting Licid onto target creature. You may pay a black to end this effect. This is a rereader, folks. It loses this ability, then it's gone, and becomes a creature enchantment that reads, enchant creature cannot be blocked except by artifact. Oh, it gives it fear. Instead of a creature, okay, yeah, it's like basically turns into an enchantment. Move Corrupting Licid onto target creature. You may pay black to end this effect. I don't understand. Okay. This is just confusing as hell. See, this is old-fashioned card design. Yeah. What a weird card. Yeah, gotta get that fear. You gotta get your fear on. Gotta strike some fear into your opponents. We've done Burgeoning. I don't think we've done the Wall of Essences, though. Wall of Essences. Two mana, 0/4. For each 1 combat damage dealt to Wall of Essence, gain 1 life. So basically, just don't attack into me. If you attack, my pain is actually my gain. I can't lose here. Steve Cooper with Shock. To be honest, I think Shock sucks. Oh, that's a pretty sweet picture. I guess so long as it's playable in Standard, or I guess so long as it's legal in Standard, it will always be like playable. Standard is always weak enough that 1 mana deal 2 damage is actually good. But outside of standard, I mean, this card is... It's just the worst of all the burn spells by a huge margin. I mean, if we had... I don't know, maybe we should do that. Maybe we have a tier list of burn spells. I don't think we've ever done that before. And it would just be at the stone cold bottom. Or, I don't know, maybe not the bottom. Maybe it's like S, A, B, C. A solid C. It's like... It's barely playable, but it's playable under the right circumstances. Yes, we just did corrupting Lissid like 1 card ago, I think. Oh no, it was 2 cards ago. Meepaw says, still haven't done the combo piece. Nomad's Encore. Still see this play today, especially in the Nadu breakfast deck in Legacy. A white 1/1, pay 0. The next 1 damage that would be dealt to Nomad's Encore this turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. Target Nadu or Cephalid Illusionist for big 2-card combo. Jonathan with Overgrowth is one of my favorites. Three mana, Enchanted Land. Whenever Enchanted Land is tapped for mana, it produces an additional green. That's pretty amazing. So, sorry, it's not additional. It just adds 2 more green. That's wild. What the hell is with this card? Now that's mana ramp. This is like mana ramp without actually ramping mana. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's an Enchanted Land. I see. Okay, I thought it was like... I first read this as just an enchantment. It's not an aura. But it's still... I still see it. Okay, this is a lot worse, though. I thought it was like enchantment. And then for each land you control, you can tap to add double green. Not quite nearly as busted as I thought it was. Used often in Commander, great card. Dr. Sean says, yeah, White Weenie used to play the Encore creatures because the way damage rules worked. They could block Ball Lightning and absorb all the trample. Ooh, that's crazy. That's good tech. Arbor Elf likes this. Arbor Elf does like this. Big time. Okay, does anyone have no card yet? There's a few people with no 2 cards yet. Okay, let's look at Toilet Duck's Rebound. Rebound, the card, the mechanic. Rebound did not get reprinted. What does that mean for Rebound? 2 mana, interrupt. Target spell. You have been targeted. Which targets only a single player, targets another target player of your choice instead. Oh! Oh! Isn't this like redirect? Did they redirect? Is that not a card? You may choose new targets for target spell. So is this a strictly worse for you may choose new targets for target spell? Change the target of target spell that targets only a player. Oh, it only charges. Okay, so actually they improved it. This is only for target players. Not nearly as good. We did corrupting Lissid. Chaos Gaming. We've done that one. We did Sliver Queen 2, Elip. Okay, Benjamin wants Krovax the Cursed. How cursed is he? 4 mana for a 0/0. Counts as Vampire. Comes into play with 4+1/+1 counters on it. During your upkeep, sack a creature and put a +1/+1 counter on Krovax, or remove a +1/+1 counter from Krovax. Pay a black, gains flying until end of turn. Wow, this is aged very badly. I'm sure this card was very good back in the day, because 4 mana, 4/4 flyer. That's pretty good. Like, you know, can fly over a Juzam Dijin. That's good stuff. I think it's very good. Today, it's awful. Blue Adept is like, I miss interrupts. I like how the Blue Adept would say that. I don't miss interrupts, but I'm fine with instance. Chen with Flame Wave. What is this? 7 mana? That's a lot. That's a lot of mana. Sorcery deals 4 damage to target player and each creature they control. 4 damage to target player and each creature they control. 4 damage to so it's like almost like wild. It's like a crappy wildfire, really. Okay, super chat from New York City Street Post. Super chat for Crystalline Sliver. We did it already. Sorry about that, New York City Street Post. Yeah, I'll show it to you anyway. Crystalline Sliver. I think it's the best sliver in the game. It deserves another art, too, I think. Oh, look at that. They made it full. Secret Lair drop. Let's reuse the art, even though we don't have a full art thing. Okay, let's donate. Did we do Ensnaring Bridge? At this point, Alip, you got to start digging deep at the bottom of the barrel here. You're at the back half of this stream. It's been around for an hour now. Let's see, Bell with Primal Rage. Okay, this is I won't even consider this a donation. Okay, Primal Rage, 2-mana enchantment. Creatures control have trample. I could see someone wanting this card. You know, they got big creatures, they're all vanilla. But then all of a sudden, you didn't think, oh, I'm not gonna make my creatures unblockable, I'm just gonna give them trample. Should have flash too. That'd be a hell of a got him. Okay, we'll donate now this super chat that failed to Ryan with Tortured Existence. Oh, we did that one. Okay, let's do Evacuation. From Dr. Sean. The El Doctor. 5 mana instant. Return all creatures to owner's hands. They go back. Back to hand. Maybe not. So it's like a crappy upheaval. It's okay. It's okay. It's not quite Cyclonic Rift, but it's also not quite 7 mana either. Pabno said Garrick's Uprising is a lot nicer because it gives card advantage too. Is it like give trample but more? Creatures could have trample. Oh, it does a lot more. Yeah, can draw a card. Enters a buff. Whenever a creature you control with power 4 or greater enters, you also draw a card. Good value. Blue didn't have a board wipe like that until then it was used. Well, like back then, didn't they just combine blue and white together? Maybe not in standard. Good old blue-white control. Wrath the God and counter spells. Peanut butter and jelly, really. Blue and white have been like 2 peas in a pod since, well, I don't know if since alpha and beta, but for a long time. They've seen things together. The Abyss Soul with Mask of Mimic. It's a blue instant. Sacrifice a creature, search your library for any copy of target creature card, and put it into play. Oh! Legal and Legacy. Sack a creature. This is interesting. I like this card. So basically, for 1 mana, I can replace my awesome card in play with the same card. Copy of target creature. It's terrible for Commander. You Commander players are like, I can't use this. This is useless to me. I guess it's possible. You can have a creature in play, make a token that's a copy of that creature, shuffle, or somehow get the original creature back into your deck. And then if someone targets your token, then you Mask of the Mimic. They'll never see it coming. Christopher B showing up very, very late. Youthful Knight. Very, very youthful. Come on, Alip. Get me something. Give me something. Go look up bad Stronghold cards to get on the show. Okay, Useful Knight. 2 mana, 2/1, first strike. Oh, it's terrible. It's a card we haven't seen though, so. But it's not very powerful. I guess back then they was good. 2 mana, 2/1, first strike. I mean, that was on par for power back in the day. They called it White Weenie for a reason. because it was like one of the very few archetypes that you could like rush out a bunch of creatures very early and then start attacking through players. Like, I can imagine a goblin deck absolutely suffered versus something like this, because like the moment you have like a 1/1 in play, it's useless. Like, it's just stone cold useless because you can't attack or block any of these things because they have first strike. First strike was like, it was just absolutely busted back then. Great card. Kybright says, how about this terrible card? Pursuit of Knowledge. Knowledge. Pursuit of Knowledge. 4-mana equipment. Sorry, enchantment. Skip drawing a card. Okay, I'm not reading the ancient scripture here. If you would draw a card, you may put a study counter on Pursuit of Knowledge. Remove 3 study counters from Pursuit of Knowledge. Sacrifice this to draw 7 cards. This is greedy. That's what this is. That is supremely like super greedy. Imagine they stifle this, they destroy this thing after it gets its 3rd counter. I would not be happy about that. I don't want to sacrifice any of my card draw in advance. Eris says, it's called a short-term investment. You might be right, Eris. Hey, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's some good what is the return on this thing? So hold on. We started with we get 7 subtract 3 equals divided by 3. That is 100 times 100. 133% return. That's a good return. That's not bad. Compounded over 3 turns. That's great. That is value. I forgot about that. I love that card too. I think I'll play it. See, that's the part of the show. You rediscover super old cards that you forgot even existed. Temper. Oh, okay. It's an X cast spell. For a white and 1 generic, we have X instant. Prevent up to X damage to target creature. For each 1 damage prevented this way. Oh, you actually buff it up. Put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. So it's not like a, if it's just like prevent X damage and then like it doesn't die, this type of card is just garbage. But I mean, if it does, it buffs it up instead. It's quite the turnaround story here. Justin, no card yet. The worst Sliver Lord, in my opinion, Sliver Queen. We did that card already. Sorry about that. No, we're on the. Oh, what is this, Mordrak? Sliver Wyvern. We definitely didn't see that. Sliver W. I don't know what this is. Sliver WY. No, it doesn't exist. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Oh, silver. Okay, sorry. This is a sliver set. I never would have saw it. So I'm sure a lot of people reading this card back in the day, they probably called it Sliver Wyvern 2. 5 mana for a 4/3 Flying Drake. Pay blue. Target spell or ability, which targets only Silver Wyvern. It's a tongue twister in itself. Targets another creature of your choice instead. Play this ability as an interrupt. Very, 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 very poor by today's standards. Probably was a draft bomb back then, though. So funny seeing the delay between chat and stream. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, you can stay what's it called up to date by. There's like not a refresh button. There's like a live symbol. And if it's gray, then you're not live. If it's red, you're live. Or vice versa. I don't remember what it is. Kev 2, Contemplation. Okay, 3-mana enchantment. Whenever you successfully cast a spell, you're going to gain 1 life. Nice. Very beautiful. I don't know if a Storm deck wants that, though. Maybe. We did Dream Halls, Jonathan. We did Nomad's Encore. We didn't do Foul Imp, though. Black, 2/2, flyer. When it comes to play, lose 2 life. That's terrible. No! We need to go to the hospital if we play enough of these cards. But, I mean, it was probably playable back in the day because you just fly over your opponent's stuff. Ooh, Alip is going to be part of the show. Flowstone Helion. Flowstone Helion. I knew you could do it, Alip. Ooh, I've heard of this card. It's a 5-mana 3/3. It is unaffected by Summoning Sickness. Which means it has haste. Pay 0. Flowstone Healing gets +1/-1 until end of turn. It's basically like it's the red Morphling. This so it can attack and it also buffs itself up. I'm proud of you, Alep. Thank you very much for being part of the show. And now I know I can confidently end it. Okay, that's it. I think based on what we saw, I would say Stronghold's busted. Man, this set was broken. It was absolutely broken. It had some like weaklings somewhere near in the end, but holy crap, it was an absolute powerhouse. All right, if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here starting weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you very much, everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And thanks everyone who shows up here every single day. People like Christopher B, Benjamin Berkeley. We got Alip, Dominic, Toads. Oh, Toads showed back at the end. We did Dream Halls for sure. Yisus, Beanpot, Christopher B, Nedim, Doc Strange. Oh boy, Dimitri! Welcome back, Dimitri. I haven't seen you in months. Bell, Dominic, Kano, Lil Deadfly, Nightmare Incarnation, Crowcore Games, and more. Because you guys are what makes the show every day. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.